made chicken what was it? Chicken rice, fried rice chicken. So that was in our Instapot, which we just started.
Oh.
Did the two of you meet in China?
No, but she connected to a Chinese restaurant in Philadelphia called Charles. And Charles was the best owner we ever met. He knew every single person. And her brother had a good relationship with Charles. And on our first date, she said she wanted to go to Charles. Unfortunately, Charles closed down about 5 years ago or so. So no more Charles, but it was a great Chinese restaurant in downtown Philadelphia. Okay, so we're coming in. We got 31 participants so far. It's really good to see everyone's faces. Feel free.
Some people are muted. Some people are muted.
Oh yeah,
Muted.
so we're gonna go into mute mode in a minute. It's gonna be a mutiny. Sorry. Sorry, Bruce.
Or unmuting it.
So, sometimes I have inspired. Not like Bruce though.
You can hear it.
Hey, the Bursteins are here. I see Marsha Fuji, and Frank is here, and Ellen. I see the Krebs, or Sharon Krebs is here. Wonderful. Hi, Karen Weissman. And Andy, we're so good to see you. And the Fines, wonderful. And the Schmeidler's Carol, I'm so glad you're here. What a wonderful way to honor your mom this week. What an incredible person. I was eating ice cream just for her tonight. Okay, looks like 7:01. We'll do this kind of Jewish Zoom time, so we'll probably start in about 3 minutes.
Jewish time.
Yeah. There's different times with Zoom. Those of you that have to have a lot of meetings, you know, Zoom time is actually more like Presbyterian time, about 10 minutes early.
We're on Temple time.
Temple time. Got it. You got it.
Temple time is you come in around L'Chadodi.
Yep.
Will we need the prayer books?
Oh yeah, you know what, Melania, Cantor, all the prayers are going to be, Cantor has wonderful slides. So you should be able to follow the service without the prayer books, actually.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone who's just come in.
Shabbat
Oh,
Shalom.
it's so good to see Joe Glickman.
How you
Really good to see you.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
You look great.
Thanks.
And Terry DeBruin from all the way from the Midwest.
Joanne, does everybody unmute themselves or you unmute everybody?
We're going to try to...
It works both ways. I've been muting people so we can start the service, but people have the ability to unmute themselves and mute themselves.
Okay.
Hey, Joanne, how do you think we're doing?
Dude.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't.
How are we doing? Do you think a lot of people are trying to get in at this point?
I don't know. For the service, I've had no issues, and we're also on Boxcast as we speak.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's a new feature we have. So I guess that goes out to Facebook and to YouTube, right?
Iris, you want it louder?
So we welcome all those people out there. So let's see. Andy and Rana and Joe, I guess we need to probably mute you in a minute before you get started. Zoom picks up every little thing. I'm going to just ask everyone to mute And I think we're going to have an opening song. One of my favorite ones brings me back to the time of camp. Maya Tayo.
Shabbat shalom, Maya Hayom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Now, Maya
Shabbat shalom.
Maya Hayom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Well, really, really wonderful. Thank you, Cantor, for these beautiful slides. I think we still had a couple people that were unmuted, and it's really wonderful to hear your voice. But for the purposes of Shabbat and listening, I think it'll be easier if you're muted during the service time. So, Cantor, are we doing this before the welcome then?
People are still coming in. I hear the bells ringing.
Perfect. So I'll turn it back to you.
Boy, kala, boy, kala. Sing with me. Boy, kala, boy, kala. Akama meros ila dot nistaka. Bovene seli kachabatamalka. Akama meros
Rosh Hashanah.
bovene
Shabbat.
Please make sure you're muted till it's your turn to speak for something. Make sure you're muted. Boy, kala, boy, kala, boy, kala, boy, kala. Akama meros leila dot nistaka. Bovene seli kachabatamalka. Akama meros leila dot nistaka. Bovene seli kachabatamalka. Inehi yobretet hakadosha berucha b'imam malachim shalom u'menucha. Boi kala, welcome bride. Welcome bride. Boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala, boi kala.
All right, Cantor, maybe for this portion, is it okay to put down the screen share for a second for the welcome? We were practicing this week and we're getting much better. All these things with Zoom. I just want us to take a moment just to really look at each other and come to focus, to take a nice deep breath, which we can do here on Zoom. And just to take in this week, I want you to look very closely at the screen like you're looking at the person near you, and survey around it. It will feel like you're actually looking at the person. And then we kind of hold the person like kind of like a hug. I said a Snoopy hug this week by kind of going like this. So let's give each other a hug and welcome, make us feel really connected. It's really wonderful to see everyone. I'm going to invite up invite up. We can't do that on Zoom, can we? We're going to invite Bruce Chorus to give the official welcome.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so nice to see so many faces again tonight. So welcome to Shazoom, the sequel, which I think is very quickly going to become Shazoom, the series. I think Rabbi and I were talking earlier in the week and how everyone else in America was doing Zoom for their services when we were doing live in our parking lot. And so we were able to be together in person. So we don't have the Zoom burnout that a lot of other congregations have. There are congregations in America that have been either live stream or Zoom the whole time, this entire process. So we've been very lucky in that we have been able to be in person. And now we're doing it in person in little boxes. It's like the Hollywood squares. And oh, look, Larry and Gail Kerman are in the secret square right in the middle. Look at it on my screen anyway. So anyway, we have a lot of other really cool stuff coming up in the next week. We have Hanukkah, and we have a very, very special Hanukkah special coming up. And I'll be talking about that later in the announcements. And the Cantor, of course, will be talking about that because she has done so much work on that. I also want to just mention several people in the past week have reached out to me and said, okay, Bruce, last week the Supreme Court made its ruling. How does that impact us? And the answer is, in a word, it doesn't. There is no impact on us from the Supreme Court ruling because basically what they said is, hey, you can do this. Well, we don't want to do that. It's not like they said you've got to stop doing something you're doing. They're basically giving organizations more freedom to do something that we will not do. We have said right from the beginning that our focus is on your safety, and we are taking every caution possible. And so we will be in person when we can and however we can. And as I've said many times, we're in the winter now. We're going to do a shivering Shabbat one Friday night. I guarantee you, we're going to be out there in the cold one Friday night. And it's going to be wonderful. But in the meantime, we'll do this and we'll continue to look at ways we can do whatever we can do because everything that we do is with you in mind. So I'll be back later with a whole list of stuff coming up. And we have some really wonderful things coming up in the next couple of weeks. So Shabbat Shalom again, everyone, and welcome, like I said, to Shazoom.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Bruce. We're going to turn now to the candles. And we did candle lighting beforehand. I had Rick and Terry. I think they're still here, right? Let's see. Rick and Terry, are you still there? Okay, I can't see anything here. So why don't we turn it over to Cantor to lead our candle lesson.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu leharik ner shel
May the candles of Shabbat light our way towards rest and peace and relaxation and community. We're going to turn to the Kiddush, and you see the slide in front of you. And I'm going to invite my daughter beside me, training for her bat mitzvah, to help me with the Kiddush. Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushenu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'ahavra uvatzom, kivanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki yom tehillah.
Let me cry, Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu
Kivanu Kidarshta Kohanim V'Shabbat Kodshacha V'Havra Uvratzon Im Keltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Amen L'chaim. Okay, we're ready to welcome in Shabbat officially. So figure out where your doorway is. It could be your Zoom doorway, your actual doorway. We're going to sing the first that first and last verse. On the last verse, we're going to rise and bow to Shabbat bride or queen as she comes in. All right, we're ready. And we rise for community, if you're not risen already, for the call to prayer.
La
with my Torah thoughts this week, I talked about Snoopy hugs. And there was a wonderful quote that I found. When my arms can't reach the people who are close to my heart, I always hug them with my prayers. So we're going to sing Ahavat Olam, hugging each other with our prayers.
אהבת עולם את ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, שוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, כאורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה.
We turn now to our holiest words, the Shema.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. 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 Baruch Shenkavod Umakuto, Leolam Vahed. Baruch Shenkavod Umakuto, Leolam Vahed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated as we turn to the V'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאותה ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, וייתן קידושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As we turn now to the Michamocha, if you look at the words themselves, you can find one of the symbols of our upcoming holiday, of Hanukkah, the Maccabees, which is buried within the words actually of the Michamocha, as they overcame all odds to defeat the Greeks and retake Jerusalem. Turn it over to Cantor for the Michamocha. Cantor, before you switch the slide, 1 second. Before you switch the slide, I just wanted to look what Maccabee is the, at the top, you can see it either in the Hebrew or the transliteration. The me, that's the ma for Maccabee, the ch, the ka for Maccabee, the ba, the ba on that first line, or the bet, and the Adonai, which is the yud, and that's where Maccabee's from. Now we can switch. So let's read together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. With you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over Jerusalem, our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. One of my favorites. I love that little flourish at the end. Wonderful. We're going to turn now to the Amidah. This is the opening melody where we ask God to open our lips to allow us to fully pray. The rabbis knew it's really hard to pray. I invite you to rise, and we're going to do this, and then we'll go into our silent prayer.
Oh God, open up my lips.
Sounds good.
take some time. You can turn off your screen if that's helpful, but take time just to be by yourself, to say the prayers you need, the Thanksgiving. And whenever you're ready, you may be seated and turn back your video on. As we come back together, we're turning our attention to those who are in need of prayer and support. We're going to sing the Misha Berach. Let me read our list of names that we have that we're thinking about. Some people are in dire condition and we're praying for them. And we'll also have an opportunity afterwards to say the names, so you can unmute for that portion to say the names you're thinking about. As a community, we're thinking about Lee Applebaum, Bruce Baum, Jason Shirks, Cantor Sharon Colbert, Arthur Gizelke, Sydney Ehrenreich, Bernie Engel, Gabe Verber, Sarah Halpern, Donna Heitner, Nancy Hersbrun, Charles Lemansky, Kathy Moss, Richard Radis, Gail Whalig Smith, Iris Weinstein, Carla Weissman, Yaakov Raphael, Hanan Ezra Ben Shuel, Aram Ben Moshe, Sarah Bat Chava, Malka Bat Naftali, Kayla Bat Miriam, Mariam Friedel, Lev Hirsch Ben Sadie, the mayor official, and David Ben Masha. If you have other names, feel free to unmute.
Blaine Schwartz,
Roy Post.
Rachel and Don.
Michelle, Marco, and Shannon.
We had some good news in the chat too. Iris is doing so much better, and that's wonderful. Joanne will take her name off the list. All right, let's bring all of our names together. Everyone we're thinking about, including maybe ourselves, and I'll turn it over to Cantor to sing the Misha Berach.
renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. Thank you, Cantor. Thank you for the beautiful music. We're going to take a pause from the screen share so I can share just a few words about this week's Torah portion. We are in the end or the middle of the Jacob saga. This is Vayishlach in the Torah reading. This is where he sends out emissaries and begins his reunion towards his brother Esau. I say the end or the middle because this is the end of his direct narrative, but actually Jacob's with us all the way through the end of Genesis, where we have a few more weeks to go. It's one of the longest stories we have. And it's a wonderful story, and I encourage you to look in the Torah. This has the wrestling with angels that I mentioned this week, and just that beautiful reunion that happens, one of the most heartfelt things in our Torah tradition. But this week, I was thinking about Jacob for a different reason. We had a passing in my family. My great uncle, whose name was Jack Locke, they called him Yanko. And of course, Jack is just another way of saying Jacob. And it just seems so appropriate. There's so many connections between my great uncle and our patriarch. When I was in Israel, one of the last times, I got to see the 70th member of his extended family born, which was just incredible. His family almost all lives in Israel, and they started off with just a few family members, and now they fill an entire wing of a hotel. And that's how we think about Jacob's family with the 70 that connects us later. He also connects because he really was a patriarch in his family. Cantor had asked if I had any pictures. We actually don't have many pictures of him. We don't keep a lot of pictures in general in our family. But the best picture is just my face here. I am a Locke, which is the family that I came from. I look very much like my grandfather, his brother, Bernie. Or Bunny, Bernard, and they were best friends and business owners together. My great-grandfather, who I never knew, Mike Locke, he started first, as many people did, he sold wares on the street, like in a push cart, and he eventually turned that into a business, a plumbing supply store in Harrisburg. And his two sons, both University of Pennsylvania Wharton graduates, which was very rare in that day. There was a lot of discrimination about Jews. They went on, they were brilliant people, but they wanted to support their father. And their father, who I never know, was a very giving person. During the Depression, my great-grandfather went out and looked for people who were suffering and brought them food and made sure that the entire community was well tended to. And I think that my uncle, my great uncle, really represented that tradition so well. And one of the really cool things this week is I got to actually attend his funeral in Harrisburg. It was a rainy day. It was actually the same, it was on Monday that we had the funeral. And I think it was right around the time, maybe right before Debbie Schmeidler, we said goodbye to her as well. But I got to go to my great uncle's funeral, and I got to see all my family that I hadn't seen in a long time that live in Israel. And I got to hear from my cousins who are around the same age as I am, tell the story of who my great uncle was. I'll share a couple of things, and then I want to share some of what the eulogy that my cousin Daphna, who we reconnected this week, shared about him. First, he would tell some kind of corny jokes. I know Bruce would appreciate. And apparently he was Orthodox, and he had a funny joke about Jacob. He's about whether and why Jacob would wear a kippah. He would ask everyone continually, how do we know that Jacob wore a kippah? And because the Torah portion, the same one that he died in, Vayetze, last week, last Saturday, it says, and Jacob went out. And in the Orthodox world, if you go out, you always had your kippah on. This was something that really cracked him up. I also learned he had some very special Shabbat Zmirot, and even in the nursing home, he was about 99 when he died. When they put a white tablecloth in front of him, he would sing his Zmirot, his songs for Shabbat in a beautiful way. He was a very selfless person, and very giving. And he was also a World War II vet. He was in, I think it was in the Navy in the Pacific. And he was on one of the ships. He just got off the ship before it went down. And there was one of those horrendous situations he described to me where all of the sailors were, there was all these sharks. It was terrible, terrible part of the war. But I wanted to read to you because I think it really epitomizes our impact in this world. We don't realize the impact, both near and far. When we hold on to our values and we do things the right way, we have this ability to, like Jacob, our patriarch, and like Yankel and Jack, my great uncle, to really spread goodness in this world in this amazing way. And just so you know, like his grandchildren, they lived in Israel. He lived in Harrisburg. He rarely saw them, but he was the most influential figure in their lives, and they recognized it one by one. They shared that because of his values and what they taught him, even though they rarely saw him and rarely were able to even talk to him. So this is a little from my cousin Daphne. Who is the man who desires life, who loves days to see goodness? Who was Zadie's secret? What was Zadie's secret to a long and wonderful life? It wasn't a secret at all. It was his trademark posture of menschlichkeit and generosity and warmth. Anyone and everyone who had the great fortune of crossing paths with Zeta was always instantly amazed and forever enamored with this man of compassion, this man of his word, of selfless devotion and service. From his family, the one which he originated and the one he co-created, immediate and extended in the greater sense, to his friends from childhood, from the Jewish community in Harrisburg, to his brothers in arms who bravely fought together during World War II to serve the country they loved, to his professional family of business suppliers, customers, and even competitors, to whom he happily sent those he knew would find what they needed there. Everyone knew what Yankel stood for and admired and respected and loved him gratefully for who he was. The family whose crystal message led to each of their children to make Aliyah, realizing the family's collective dream and playing out and owning Bubby and Zeta's vision with pride and a sense of purpose and mission. A family that's blossomed into a credibly flourishing 4-generation tribe of Mensches, which continues to be an immense source of joy and pride to Zadie throughout his long and beautiful life. Sorry, that's my dog. Which means that we, and this is the most important part, we, the 3rd and 4th generation, Zadie and Bubba's grandchildren and great-grandchildren, have both a great privilege and an enormous obligation. We have been entrusted with continuing the tradition we have been sworn to from birth. Bubby and Zadie's tribes of generous Mensches. And that comes with a responsibility to serve, to love, to help, to care. And we each will continue to do our best to be worthy of this precious tribal membership and identify in our identity in our daily actions, to do justice to Zadie and Bubba's legacy of love and provide them with endless reasons to shep eternal nakas from above. Thank you, Zadie, for being you, for setting in motion the process that provided for us to become us. I love that sense that we are really part of a deeper mission that's been given to us by our grandparents and great-grandparents and parents, all the way down to us, and that we bestow to others. We really felt that with my great uncle, because his children and his grandchildren were separated from him, but he still had a powerful influence, and it still was connected. I feel every time I look in the mirror and I see my grandfather's face, knowing that I'm extending his legacy. That wonderful line that my cousin said, setting in motion the process that provided for us to become us. I was trying to teach my daughter Jara this. That's what I say when I say the Amidah, the prayer, the central prayer. I thank God that I'm not alone, that I don't have to do this alone, that I have the support of generations before me and in front of me. And I'm glad to do my role, just my small role, and that's enough in this world to make it better. So may we all recognize those that made us who we are, celebrate it, and do our part to get that baton to that next generation, so there can be many Yankals in the future that make life better and easier for other people. May his memory always be for a blessing. So I was teaching my daughter about her great uncle. There's only one of them left. They had 7 at the beginning, and now there's only one left. My great aunt Sussy, out of the 7. That's what happens when you live to almost 99. So we're going to turn now to the end of our service, to Aleinu, and we'll go back to our screen and invite you to rise. Oh, Cantor, you're still on mute. Sorry, we're still getting used to it. Apologies.
עלינו לשבח, לדון הכל, לתת גדולה, יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. We're going to turn to the mourner's Kaddish. I mentioned my great uncle Jack Locke. I saw Carol Schmeidler there, who lost her mom, Deborah Schmeidler. Wonderful. We heard some wonderful eulogies, and tonight Debbie was a very generous person. She loved to eat. So if you have a particular thing, please do it for her and have joy in it. And Shep Nachas, because she was a joyful person. We also lost in our community Fern Middleman, who was a wonderful person. I'm glad to have known her and her husband. And it's a sad, sad loss for that family. We're also remembering Stephen Zappia, who passed last week. And we spoke about him last week. Wonderful, wonderful mensch. And Chaya Sarah Bat Gershom Basara as well. We're remembering on our Shloshim list Robert Burkow, Jill Hamilton's father, Vivian Burstein Berkowitz, that's the sister of Erwin Burstein, Jeremy Goldman, Myra Horowitz, Harvey Horowitz's wife, Ruth Miller, Donald Mudge, and Lola Przaniak, John Przaniak's mother. And our yard site list from years past, we're remembering David Atkin, Abraham Bates, Laya Berdichevsky, Adele Bronsky, Harry Brown, Joe Brown, Sadie Bunis, Minna Kamen, Harry Cantor, Meyer Cantor, Jacob Chazen, Gertrude Allman Cubbett, Louis Fagan, Marge Feldman, Nathan Galinsky, Louis Leonard Glick, Harold J. Goldstein, Alice Gordon, Gertrude Grass, Lester Horowitz, Edwin Jaffe, Jason Kaiser, Ayla Kaplan, Albert Klein, Morris Lattis, Ted Lane, Samuel Levitt, Morris Markel, Leslie Morris, Benjamin Nema, Russell Nissengard, Samuel Porton, Rita Ray, Max Sapphire, Maurice Schmidman, Sylvia Schulafand, Lillian Schwartz, Olivia Seldis, Joseph Simon, Arthur Slonim, Ann Toth, Samuel Viner, and Irving Weinstein. If you have other names that you'd like to offer, feel free to unmute and offer them now. And all those who are in mourning, or as custom it is, to rise, please rise.
Rabbi, Susan Heffernan died this week. She was one of my favorite high school teachers, and I had her for public speaking. So I think you know how much she inspired me.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Bruce. Thank you for mentioning her name. Yitgadal, V'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma, Divrach, V'yirtei, V'yamlik, Machutei, V'chayechon, V'yamachon, Chayei, Chabet Yisrael, V'galav, V'izman, Kariv, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Barach, Le'olam, Omei, Almaya, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yipa'ar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Kudashah, Rechu, Le'elam, Min Kol Bechata V'shirata, Tush Bechata, V'nechamata, Tamiran B'yalma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlam Rabbah Min Shemaya, Chayim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom V'ramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. May God grant peace to the bereaved and comfort and to the world as well. We say Amen. You may be seated. Zikronam Levracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. I'm going to now turn it over to Bruce Chorus to give our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Mazel Tov to Rabbi Alex and Ashira on their 15th anniversary today. I looked it up. The gift for 15 is crystal. And I think we have some very nice crystal pieces in the gift shop at Temple, in case you want to find stuff. So Mazel Tov to the two of you. Obviously, a very special thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor Frank and Mike Frank for a lovely service in honor of Shabbat. And it is so important for us to maintain this tradition and connect with our members on Friday nights. And the fact that we're continuing to do it in as many ways as possible is just really wonderful. I also would like to say Mazel Tov to two of our members, Dr. Gail Burstein and Miriam Abramovich, who received very prestigious awards last night at the Jewish Federation annual meeting. I know that some of you were on the Zoom for that last night, but that was a very nice that the two big awards of the night both went to CSS members, which was really nice. We are in the process of upgrading our social media platforms so we can offer everyone choices of how to watch our events in the ways which you are most comfortable. So we're learning, as we see tonight, we're learning as we go on things. So please be patient with us. We want you to have the best and most meaningful experience as possible. next Friday night, Erev Shabbat Hanukkah service will be at 7 o'clock p.m. via Zoom, candle lighting, which will be a menorah lighting, of course, via Zoom at 6:45. And then the main event, our Hanukkah special, will follow at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube. Do not miss this. This is remarkable. I got a sneak peek at it today. The cantor sent me the link, so I was able to watch it, and it is really, really good. You are going to enjoy it. It's got music, it's got humor, in my case, really bad humor, but it's a lot of fun, and it will be released next Friday night at 7:30. So watch it. You're going to have a ball. Our Saturday morning virtual offerings tomorrow include Torah study at 9 a.m., the Shabbat morning service, and virtual Kiddush luncheon at 11. Both events are via Zoom. New this week, we have junior congregation at 10 a.m. via Zoom for 6th and 7th graders and their families. Website will have the links. Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m., Dr. Yanina Foster will be leading us in Shalom Ruach, peaceful spirit, for song, chant, silence, and sharing. The website will have the link for that. Calendar says December. The weather says bitter, bitter middle of winter. Our menu on Tuesday says middle of summer. We're doing another Shabbatas on Tuesday. So if you have not pre-ordered your meals, please do so. And I will see you guys driving through the parking lot as I stand out there shivering my tuchus off, directing traffic. But again, I want to say thank you to everyone who supports Shabbatas, either through volunteering or, of course, purchasing the meals. That is such an important fundraiser for us this year. And